Well, hello, everybody. Bill Thornton, SoCal Saber here. Thank you for stopping by to talk about some music. And as usual, it'll be the CDs and albums that I listened to this week. And at the end, I'll pick two that I thought that I liked the most this week. So let me know what you think about the songs as we go along. Do you have any of these? Put some comments down there. While you're down there, hit that like button. And if you haven't done so yet and you're watching, please subscribe to help the channel grow. It's a new channel. Trying to get some subscribers on there. Tell your friends about it. Here we go. Well, I started the week off with this 1984 LP, Born in the USA by Bruce Springsteen. Actually, this was in the collection already. As you can see, I don't have it then. It'll get a sleeve here when we're done. But I had picked up another one. And it's the other one that I listened to, but I subsequently took it down to Temecula, give it to my son, which he had already had. So I brought it back home. It's already stored in there. So anyway, this was, I have 4 LPs and 9 CDs in my collection by Bruce. There was a little time when I was a big Bruce Springsteen fan. I'm not so much big anymore, but I still enjoy his music. Born in the USA transformed Springsteen into a worldwide superstar. It's more pop influence than his previous albums. And there's the tracks on the back. It's pretty typical of the 1980s rock music with the heavy use of synthesizers and stuff like that. We got an inner, which is still in. They'll be getting a new inner protective sleeve as soon as we're done here. Like this is old stuff that was in the album or in the collection, not protected properly because I didn't know any better back in the day. A lot of the topics in this song include the working class struggles, disillusionment, patriotism, and personal relationship. Although some tracks contain numerous lyrics. Let's take a better look at that. Overall, I thought this was a VG Plus album, folks. We'll take a look at the Columbia. It's in good shape. This is an old one. 16, 25, 41 years old. Plays very well. It'll be getting the proper protection. And when it gets to the deep clean, it'll get the deep clean too when it gets its turn. In fact, it might go into the deep clean in the next turn, then put away. That sounds even better. So that was Born in the USA, the 1984 monster hit by Bruce Springsteen. Next, I was out in Wisecrack Records, my local one out here in Oak Hills, California. And I was going through some, I guess, new releases because they were sealed and they were in the new release album when I ran across this by Black Sabbath, Total Technical Ecstasy. Well, not being a really super into Black Sabbath fan, wasn't sure that it was even Black Sabbath. So I talked to the guy and he says, yeah. And what it is, this is a 2016 reissue of their 1976 album. I now have 12 LPs in the collection by Black Sabbath. This was their 7th studio album, produced by guitarist Tony Iommi and released in October of 76. Let's see if we got a ninner in here. I think we do. The album received mixed reviews from critics, but it was a commercial success, peaking at number 13 on the UK albums chart, and number 51 on the US Billboard Top 200 chart. The pop ballad It's Alright is sung by drummer Bill Ward, becoming the band's first song not sung by frontman Ozzy Osbourne. Music-wise, I liked it, and I gave it a VG, but production-wise, I only gave it a G plus. And why? Because see the red lettering? Them are the lyrics. Too hard to read. Although they're provided, I guess I could get a magnifying glass or something to read them, but that kind of took my overall process down. Yeah. And we'll take a look at the vinyl. Warner Records. Brand new. It's in good shape. Like I said, it's a 2016 reissue of the 76 album. Upside down for you. So the week's out to a pretty good run. Bruce Springsteen and this Black Sabbath album from 2016 reissue of 1976 album titled Technical Ecstasy. Well, I was also, when I was out there, I was looking through some of the pre-owned records out there, and I picked this one up because I have liked them since I got to know them. I've only known them now for about 5 years. I don't know, you know how I am. Where was I all those years? Okay, and this is Rubber Factory by the Black Keys. It's a 2015 LP. I now have 4 LPs, 1 CD in the collection by them. So I must have liked them a one-time pack with a CD. I'll have to check the date on that CD, see when I picked it up. This was their 3rd studio album by the American rock duo. The album was recorded in an abandoned tire manufacturing factory in the group's hometown of Akron, Ohio. It received positive reviews and was the band's first album to chart on the Billboard 200 in the United States, reaching number 143. So I bet you they had a nice celebration that they finally got one to chart, huh? I did like it. So I'm giving the material a BG this week on this album, Rubber Factory, by the Black Keys from 2015. This was in really, really good shape, too. Anybody out there, Black Keys fans? So the week's been really rolling along pretty good here. Then, while I was out there at Wisecrack Records, Jamie, the owner, was playing the CD, and I kind of heard this like nice, light, bluesy music, and so I asked him, "Who is that? Who's he playing?" So he showed me the CD. I came home, did a little search to see if it was on vinyl, and it was. And this is a 2025 reissue of a 1976 album by the Cowboy Junkies. It's the only thing I have in the collection by them. And it was the band's debut album. And it's composed entirely of rock and blues covers. Most of the covers on here, though, aren't the real typical ones that are covered. There were a lot from John Lee Hooker and those guys. So it was pretty cool. The singer, Margot Timmons, was recruited by her brother Peter, who was forming the band and everything, after somebody else turned the job down. And as she started to sing, she found out that her voice sounded better if she sang it a little lower, not in key, just lower voice-wise. And it's very pretty. It's very, very nice. I was trying to think of some other female singers that the voice was similar to, and the only thing I can think of right now, and I can't remember her name, her name, the one that sang Black Velvet. Uh, should be embarrassed to even say that I can't remember their names, but I can't. So the album called White's Off Earth Now. I thought, uh-oh, gonna get in trouble. Gonna be Rachel erratically, but when I checked into it, it's not. It was their debut album and composed, like I said, the one song "Take Me" is the only original song by the band. So I give it a BG. I really like the bluesy sound of it. It was nice and mellow and bluesy, and the guitars were not wild in the background. They were very nice and steady. Pretty good stuff. And so, based on that, I'll probably do I'll listen to their '88 album called "The Trinity Season." I'll listen to it online and then see if I like it or not. I might add it to the collection, since this is the only thing I have by them. And I do like them. It's funny in the last 5 years how many groups I've come across that I miss that I like. So that was White's Off Earth Now by the Cowboy Junkies. It was a 2025 reissue of their 1986 debut album. So we're going along pretty good this week, and we're at the point where we're doing some CDs. So the first one out of the CD rack this week is number 143. And it's a 1992 album by Kenny G, Breathless. I have 3 CDs in my collection by Kenny G. So now, as I started this year, I wanted to decide whether I like jazz or not. Completely forgetting about some of the jazz I already had in my collection that I really like. It's funny how I can forget about those things. Well, at my age, I forget about yesterday, let alone stuff like that. This was his 6th studio album. Reached number 1 on the Contemporary Jazz Albums chart and number 2 on the Billboard 200 and the R&B Hip Hop Artist chart. The track Forever in Love reached number 18 on the Billboard Hot 100. Despite mixed reviews by the critics, this went on to be a big, still certified diamond with shipments of 12 million copies in the U.S., making one of the best-selling albums in the United States and the best-selling instrumental in history. I like this a lot. And my wondering if I like jazz or not should be over. I guess there are certain kinds of jazz that I like and don't like, and that's to be discovered in the future. But overall, for jazz, yeah, I like it. This is mellow. If you ever want to kick back and listen to some mellow stuff, this is one for you right here. There it is, Kenny G, Breathless. And I gave this a VG+. I liked it so much. So there it was, the first CD of the week, number 143, Breathless by Kenny G from 1992. All right, next one coming out of the chute from the CD rack was number 144, Harvest Moon by Neil Young, a 1993 album. I have 4 LPs and 16 CDs in my collection by Neil Young. So I must like Neil Young, huh? I would think so. That's kind of crazy to have that much. But I guess everybody would have a lot of guys, people they really like. This was the 21st studio album by the Canadian-American musician Neil Young. Many of its backing musicians also appeared on Neil Young's classic 1972 album, Harvest. Harvest Moon celebrates a lasting relationship. He really wrote this in depth about his life with his wife, Peggy, I think her name was. And I'm getting it out of here. There was a lot of people over the years asking him to do a certain follow up to that Great Harvest album. He never knew really what he wanted to do or how to go about doing it. I'm not saying that this is what he meant by doing this one, but it could be implied because of the name Harvest Moon. Okay, and here as it is. This album was pretty mellow. I mean, he's not a real heavy hard rocker anyway, but this was pretty mellow and mostly folk rock, bordering on country at the time. So because of the combination of being mellow and bordering on country, I only give it a G plus for this week. But it's in the collection along with all the other Neil Young material. So, last thing of the week, the album that in the collection. The first one was a mistake. So this was the one that normally comes out this last, and this is the 1978 LP Stranger in Town by Bob Seger. 6 LPs and 6 CDs in the collection. This one is a hit. As you can see, I don't know if you can see it or not, what side that's on. All these here got lines through them. All these ones. It got lines through them, which in the past meant that I had recorded them on the Akai reel-to-reel. So the whole first side was recorded. Saw Bob in the early 80s, early 80s down in LA at the Forum. What a really, really, really good concert. My ex-wife Dee and a friend of ours, Steve Wells, went down there and saw it. And as with its successor, the Silver Bullet Band, backed Seger on about half of the songs, and Muscle Shoals rhythm section backed Seger on the other half. They'd done that on 2 different albums. This rose quickly up the charts, and it was also his first album to chart in the UK, where limited editions were released on silver vinyl in picture disc format. Not much of a picture disc fan, as well as standard vinyl. So this album, just for the quality of these songs, got to have a VG plus for the week. Well, that was a pretty good week this week. What'd you think? Let me know. Do you have any of these albums? If not, which ones would you have picked as your favorites? Whether it's just because of the artist or you don't have the album or not. But the 2 that I picked this week are not going to be any surprise to anybody. It's the first one and the last one. The first one, Born in the USA by Bruce Springsteen from 1984, and Stranger in Town by Bob Seger from 1978. 2 albums jam-packed with really, really good material. So this is SoCal Saber. I hope you're glad you stopped by. I want to thank you. I hope you have a nice weekend. Take care of yourselves out there. Be kind to each other and stay safe.